All right, I believe that we are currently live. So, welcome to my channel and to the Storm King's Thunder game that we are running. Currently, we are playing session 45, which is titled Throne and Scepter. Last the party left off, they have finally uncovered the clues to the whereabout of where King Hecaton disappeared to from a proprietor of the Grand Dame, a man named Lord Dryland, the Water Baron of Yartar, Octavius Wren's old home, where he was exiled from. Upon getting this information, it came at a cost, where mysterious casters showed up on the ship and true polymorphed Queen Sarissa, the acting giantess princess queen in the absence of her father, transforming her into a permanent human. The party, forced with no other choice but to go back to Maelstrom and figure out what's going on due to a troubling message that her uncle had suddenly fallen sick. They arrived back, teleporting into Maelstrom, and were heading up the stairs where you guys were cut off by two guards, storm giant guards, and they currently are flanking you on the stairs. And they asked Sarissa why she has stuck in her human form now that she is back home. Sarissa kind of stammers for a bit, and she says that it's just I'm tired and I don't feel like doing the channeling yet. I'm more concerned about Uthor. I heard he was sick. Where is he? And the two giants look to themselves, these big, burly storm giants with these enormous beards, clad in heavy plate mail armor and big, great swords at their sides. And they go to say that it's more than okay for you to come with us, Sarissa. We will bring you right away. And before long, you guys hear the chattering coming from upstairs, a couple more voices. You're brought up into the grand kind of entry hallway, or the grand room where the performance was being given by the sisters last time. You still see all the seashells for seats, these giant clams, and the big crab, what's the word I'm looking for, organ. And there, again, is Nim and Mirin, the two sisters, along with two more storm giant guards. And they look to Sarissa and say, "Oh, sister, it is quite surprising that you came. We thought that you were going to be gallivanting with your small friends all day long, all week long, for months. We're surprised that you came back," Mirin says. This kind of blue-skinned, purple hair tied back in a messy kind of bun. She's wearing purple clothing like you've seen before, kind of this tank top-looking skirt. And to the next of her is Nim, wearing an all-white dress, and her hair is actually kind of like this almost yellowish color, and it's tied up in this short kind of like frizzy little top do thing. And she replies, "Yes, sister, I thought that you were never going to come back. I thought you left us for sure." And Sarissa says, "Well, obviously I was going to come back. I was trying to figure out what was going on with our father, and I have. But more importantly, what is wrong with Uthor?" And Mirin replies, "Oh, sister, do not worry. She is quite okay. He is quite okay. We will bring him to you shortly, but I think it is more appropriate to just have you. We don't need your little friends coming along on this one." And Sarissa looks, now standing beside you guys, and as you look up to these giants, obviously storm giants being the tallest of all the giants, standing roughly 26 feet tall, you feel absolutely puny to all of them just standing around you, four fully grown storm giants, and they look down on you. And Sarissa says that these are my knights. These are the knights of the Converging Storm. I have anointed them knightship. They are my trusted advisors. What do you mean they are not welcome? And Nim says, "Sister, why are you staying in that puny little form? It is disgraceful. Please get out of it at once." And Mirin looks and says, "Yes, why do you stay in that form, sister? I think it is time now that you take your true form." And Sarissa, getting annoyed, says, "Listen, I said I want to speak to my uncle. Where is he? You said he was sick, and I'm getting tired of this." Right, sister. No need to get angry. We'll bring you to Uthor." But your friends should stay behind. I think I'll have Orlecto. That was a mouthful. Orlecto. My guard, she points to one of the guards, who is this chiseled jaw, blue-skinned storm giant. He has this short kind of blue hair, these piercing eyes, and he looks like a youthful giant, not quite grown in his beard yet. Orlecto will guard them. You shall come with us. And then Sarissa says, well, like, if I don't understand why you guys are being like this, but she looks to you guys. Are you okay with sitting aside? As I just role-played with myself for like the first 10 minutes there. It's okay.
I was charged with the protection of Sarissa in this form. I don't feel as though I should leave her side. I know my voice is puny amongst you, but it is her decision to have me here.
Orlecto steps up, this young guard, and says, listen, small one. This is family matters. You are not storm giants, and this is a tradition that shall not be broken. Mirren has spoken, and she has said that you are not welcome.
But she is your queen, and she wants us there.
Sarissa says, yes, have you forgotten that I am queen here? And Nim says, no, sister, we have not forgotten that you're queen, but you know the rules. Right? Obviously, you being queen, you would know the rules that when a family member or council member has fallen ill, that only trusted advisors from the council and direct family shall be permitted. And Sarissa says, I have not heard that rule. And Mirren says, well, it is not unlike you to not be paying attention in the political classes that we were taught by Father. Clearly, this is something you have missed. And then she says to them, Sarissa, that these are people that I've trusted and they've helped me. I will not have them sit prisoner in the guest quarters like they are some traitorous beings that you are so blatantly seeming to be accusing them of being. And Mirren says, I am not accusing her of anything, sister. Here, tell you what. Why don't you let them sit in your room? Orlecto will stand by, and once you've seen Uthor, we'll call them right down, and we'll speak of this information that you've learned. A policy is a policy. Sarissa looks to you all. I'm sorry. I don't know why they're being like this. But if my uncle truly is sick, I don't know if I can sit here and argue with them. Are you okay with being in my room?
I'm going to go to her arm and kind of wrap my hand around her arm, and I'm going to cast Death Ward, and I'm going to be like, we will be there when you are done, my lady.
Do you remember where the, fuck, it just dropped out of my name. Where the grand throne room is, right? In correlation to my room? Which you as players do not, but you as characters would remember how to get back to the throne room. I will meet you there shortly. Orlecto has been a family guard for generations. He is a trusted advisor, or a trusted guard of my sister. He should take good care of you. And then with that, she says, fine. Have it your way. But we will be changing the policies when I have time to think about it. That is a stupid rule. Of course, sister. You can change anything you want with the right way of doing things, you know. You can't just go along and passing this law and passing this law. Now that you're queen, no one will respect you. And then Nim says, yeah, sister, no one will respect you if you just change whatever you want. And Mirren says, shut up. I just said that. Why are you just repeating me? Always repeating me. And she says, no, you're the one repeating me. I was the one that said that. And they kind of go back and forth for a bit. And then they walk away. Orlecto says, you can follow me now. I will lead you to the Queen's quarters. Although between me and you, I think it is disgraceful that you be allotted into her room. I have been guard of Mirren, lovely Mirren, so beautiful, since I was of age to serve, and never once have I stepped forth in her room. But this is the Queen's orders. But so help me, if you touch anything in there, I will have you arrested at once. And you begin walking off, and you are basically taken from the grand kind of what is the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of it. Atrium or whatever. Sure, that's a good word. And you're brought into the throne room, past the throne room, up into like the study. You go to the secret staircase, up the staircase, and are finally brought in to Sarissa's personal tower. And looking in there, you see the first thing. I'll share the map at this point. Hopefully sharing you what I want you to see. And you're brought into the room. Orlecto standing guard. And you see in this room, let me pull up my stuff here. The first thing that kind of catches your eyes is this crystal window that offers this breathtaking view of a ginormous spinning vortex that sinks down into a giant like sinkhole of a pit into the depths of which you cannot see. There's lichen and all kinds of glimmering lights that illuminate the window in front of you, this vista. As you look up and around in the window, you see that besides this lichen and this kind of initial area, it is complete and utter darkness. You must be deep below the sea. You can faintly hear this powerful swirling of the water, and as you look at the window, you can also see across the sinkhole, many hundreds of feet, a couple other rocky towers, which you suspect are other parts of Maelstrom, this massive fortress underneath the sea. You think to yourself, as you look at the glass, that tapping on it, whoever walks to it first, it's quite thick, but you can still hear the swirling whirlpool and think to yourself that it must be an incredibly strong whirlpool to hear it through the glass. In her room itself, you see that there is a couple of seashell tables and chairs, which seems to be the kind of furniture that they go with around here, a desk, and then some anemones in the corner. Not a whole lot going on. It's kept pretty clean and orderly. And now you guys just find yourselves alone. Orlecto standing at the stairs where you came in. You see a doorway, which if anyone were to approach, he would say, "Step away at once. That is the Queen's master bedroom. I will not allow anyone to see her bed, for that is disgraceful." And then, obviously, if you step away, he kind of just goes back to standing guard, and he looks pretty upset that you're here, mumbling to himself, "Letting small folk into the royal chambers. I cannot believe it." What do you all do?
Pace.
I think Octavius would study the glass, do a history check against all the books he's read, and see if he can figure out how they made it.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'd walk up there beside him as well. I guess Livy or whoever else is around too. I do not trust those sisters. Really, I don't trust any of them. But
I do not have a good feeling as well.
And their first impression certainly doesn't help with what we were seeing there. I really am worried.
The aunt still bothers me.
for sure.
I wonder how loyal these guards truly are. And to who?
Fair enough.
My thought would be that they're probably loyal to the sisters. It's been like that since we've been here.
Doesn't seem as though our queen has many friends here.
Are you guys trying to whisper this, or are you just speaking? The room's pretty big, so if you go into your own corner.
Yeah, I figured
Gareth
we'd go over by the window, but
Yeah.
Yeah, we're over by the glass, but I mean, I'm really Octavius doesn't mind if the guard hears. I mean, they're kind of edging him on, if anything.
Yeah. A few minutes start to pass by, and he looks quite bored. And he would go and say, "So, you guys were out in your part of the world, small folk villages and whatnot. What did you get up to out there?
So why you want to talk to us now? A moment ago you said we were disgraceful.
Well, I'm getting bored, to be honest with you.
Do you like to play games?
Oh, a change of heart.
Play games? What do you mean?
Or gamble, of course.
Gamble? No, I don't think I have gambled. I have been by the beautiful Miren's side since I was able to serve. It is a great honor, you know, passed down through generation to generation. My father served Neri, and before that, his father served King Hecaton's dad, and so on and so on. But I must say that Miren, she is the beautiful of all the princesses.
Why is that? I thought it might have been one of the others, but...
Oh, have you not seen her?
What do you find so beautiful?
Her long purple hair, the way it flows into that messy braid. It's like she doesn't care at all, yet it just flows like beautiful flowers, anemones underneath the sea. Her eyes are like the most beautiful pearls.
You know what you remind me of? A fascinating, great poet of a long way from here. You know, a younger man that I knew back in Waterdeep. Yes, you should be a poet. Those are beautiful words, my friend. Beautiful.
Poets? No, I only want to serve Miren. It is a great honor.
Write her a poem?
No. It is not my job to court her. I am just merely a guard. I would never dream of it. Never once, even when standing outside of her room for many long hours in the night. I have never once stepped forth into that room and would never dream of doing anything like that.
I see it in your eye. You dream all the time. It's okay. It's okay. I understand. As a fan of women myself, it comes quite naturally. But you should slip a letter under her door someday of your poetry. You'd be surprised what that could do for a man like yourself. Tall and handsome as you are.
Well, of course I'm tall to you. You're puny folk. I am merely average size to most giants. But I am a good guard.
How's that?
Well, nothing has ever happened to Miren. Never once.
But you're not guarding her now.
I was thinking the same thing, Octavius. I mean, think of all the things that could be happening to her right now, and you're not even there doing your job.
It tears at my heart to be away from her for even a second. I count each minute that goes by, and my heart yearns to be by her side. But I know
poetry again.
That Vasha is there, and she is a other worthy guard. Miren,
not as worthy as you, I would think.
Well,
and does he love her the way you do? Does he have the same high standards for her?
He is a she. Vasha is a female guard, and I don't know how she feels about Miren. That is not my matter to discuss. I am a guard of Miren, not... You guys knock it off. I am done talking to you. You're beginning to annoy me.
We're just trying to understand your ways. Dad, like I said, someday just slip a little note under her door and think of all the things that could be done.
I would never, he says to himself and turns away, kind of tapping his toes. Do you guys do anything else to waste time? About 5-10 minutes has gone by now.
Do I find, like, after a complete and thorough search of the room while we're talking to this guy, do I find anything of interest?
Give me a perception check.
I'll do that then. I forgot how for a second, but now I have it.
It's been a while.
Yeah. There's a not natural 20.
A not natural 20. So let me just read quickly here to what you see.
Thank you.
In this main room, you don't really notice anything out of the ordinary. There is a few tapestries that seem to be made of kelp and seashells that are woven into like different pictures of ships and coral. You see what looks like knickknacks retrieved from sunken wrecks of different ships on the shelf to the north quadrant of the room. There's not a lot of furniture going on, but you do see these big green anemone looking things, and it looks like some kind of storage device of some sort. Like if you were to approach it, you could probably like lift it up, cracking it open. But if you were to go like get close to them, you would hear Orlecto say, "I will not have you going through Princess Sarissa's personal things."
I am Sarissa's guard as well. And
That does not give you reason to go through her clothing drawers.
Worried crazy about her. I'm not sure how you're not worried about your liege. Can't believe you don't want to run to her side right now.
He says, "Step away from the clothing drawers."
Oh, gladly. I have no problem stepping away. I was just bored myself.
Mirren said that you were all a conniving bunch. I see what you're all trying to do. I'm not an imbecile, you know. Trying to get me to leave my quarters, my station. I will not dishonor Mirren. She has asked me to guard you, and I will guard you.
Oh,
I'm gonna guard you.
Well, I'm going to guard you more than you will guard me.
I don't think you will, sir. I am
Nobody
the
guards
utmost
as
of
much as him.
awesome.
Octavius is the
Prepare
guard.
yourself to be guarded.
He steps forward and like stares at you intently. Or
if you have to check on her, we can always come with you too.
absolutely
And therefore,
not.
you're still guarding us.
She is currently in the Uthor's private quarters. Like she said, it is a rule that no outsiders see sickly individuals from our kind.
We don't need.
Octavios, with your perception of 20, actually, what is everybody else doing? Actually, anybody doing anything particular, or are you just kind of like? There's not a lot to do in her room. She keeps a pretty boring room.
Livy, I feel like, yeah, it's a boring room, and she's trying to take note of like, is there really just the one door out of that place?
Yeah, as far as you can see, you see the door leading to the master bedroom, which you're not allowed to go to apparently, and then the staircase that he is currently guarding, and then the window. Other than that, you don't really see a whole lot else going on in this room.
Like
So, is Reich Liviant and Warrendell doing anything else in particular before I carry on?
Besides taking poetry notes for my own use. Yeah.
Yeah. He had a couple good
No,
lines there
Reich
that you
is-
might think to use.
He had a couple good lines there.
Yeah, and Riker is doing his usual, just observing, and just finds that this man is truly in love with this other person.
Yeah, you don't even need to make an insight check to see that he is madly in love with Mirren. Anyone with a insight of 10 or above would be able to see that when he speaks of her, his eyes go dreamy and whatnot. But as you're all kind of just waiting, there's not a lot left to do. Sarissa asked you to do so. You're having your stare off with Orlecto, and you stare in, and he stares in even further, and then like you step forth, and he kind of like almost bends down, and he gives you one of these, points at his eyes, and then points at you, and then behind you. You hear tink 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 tink.
I would, trying to keep one eye on Orlecto, I would try to figure out where the tinking is coming from.
It wouldn't take long after hearing that noise. As you turn around, you see that a shadow has been casted on the crystal glass. There's a big shadowy figure, a ball-like, with many kind of sharp pointed legs possibly, crawling across the glass. It causes this big shadow over top of it, kind of blotting out a part of the room. You all stare at it. And then suddenly this big, powerful, like mallet of an arm slams. Poof! The crystal glass splinters.
Or Orlecto, I think we might want to get out of here.
we need to run.
You're staring. Orlecto stands up, puts his back against the stairs, and then tink 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 tink. another shadowy form comes onto the glass. 2 of them now. And then boof, 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 begin to slam in it. A burst of water shoots through and begins pouring into the rim. It's at that point that Orlecto says, "It seems that crabs have, for some reason, climbed onto this window. Well, I hope you're all good swimmers." He smiles. Soon as water hits the floor, a barrier shoots up behind him. And he says, "The rooms all have special wards. Whenever water breaches the inside, the interior, this barrier shoots up. Nothing can get by it now. Surely you can breathe water like I, right?"
People know the.
Another slam, and the water starts to pour into the room even more. At this point, I will get you guys to roll initiative.
I'm not sure what my initiative bonus is, but I got a 3 on the die.
I will find that out for you, sir. That is Livy. Your dex is plus 3.
Great
6.
tonight.
2 6s so far. Nice, guys. Sarissa no longer with you. I won't need her. Right? You don't have access to Fantasy Grounds yet? You have a
maybe here in just a second.
can roll a dice for now to get you in. You have a +1 to your inish.
No, I'm there. I'm there.
Oh, you're there? It doesn't show you
It
there.
takes a little bit.
All right.
70761210 10, right?
Something like that. I believe it hasn't changed.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just roll something for now, so we don't have to wait too long.
Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to make you wait.
Yes, I don't have time for this. Maybe you'll get in. I don't know. Usually, Fantasy Grounds takes a while to let people into its dwellings. See who's quicker, you getting the dice or Fantasy Grounds loading?
It's 18 plus whatever I have.
19 on the initiative. That actually puts you up first to act, Mr. Reglevient. The crabs behind you on the glass, you can still only see like the shadowy figure of them, but they're all just pounding onto the glass. And what starts off as a small crack at first is now splintering and splintering with each pound, and water goes from a gentle leak to now a stream to beginning to almost pour in. You don't know how much longer the glass will hold. What do you do?
Reich looks over to the giant and goes, "What makes you think that we can breathe water like you can?"
Well, I just assumed that all races could breathe water. How strange that you cannot. That seems like a very inopportune thing to happen.
You should really get out of this place and see what the real world looks like.
Maybe I will.
And, well, we can't. And is there a way to seal this for the non-water breathing people?
A cruel smile comes across his face, and he says, "We will deal with this issue once the water has gone through, and all of the filth is washed away."
Hey.
Reich looks over to his party and goes, "Filthy. All of us.
This is their
Wonderful." And I will ready an action for an attack for anything that attacks either any of my friends or my stuff.
All right. Next up in the order then is Orlecto, and he will begin holding up his hand. And he says, "Yes, I think it is time for this room to be cleaned." And will begin chanting a verbal component of a spell, gesturing his hands, and then he reaches towards the window and pulls, and then suddenly the window cracks even further as he pulls in a big current of water. The room is now up to your ankles, and you don't know how much longer the glass will come. Or the glass will hold, sorry. And then he pulls out his sword and says, "I have never had to be an exterminator before, but orders are orders."
One thing is that we have.
And then next up is one of the crabs, who will begin using both of its attacks? 2 attacks to pound on the windows with a giant thud and another thud. The window is now completely broken forth in one area, and water is filling up quickly to your waist. And you just hear this powerful current of the deep sea, this vortex. Just only a foot of glass, maybe a little bit more, separates you from the abyss of the lowest depths of the sea. Livy, you are now up.
Yeah, so with all this going on, Livy would look to Warren. It's like, "Are you able to teleport the rest out?" And she will wait. I guess she's kind of technically right there-ish. She's not thrilled by this idea, but she's gonna try and Misty Step out because it sounded like it was a clear barrier.
You can try to Misty Step through it.
Okay. Well, here goes nothing. Boop, 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 boop.
You go to do. I'm waiting for you to do something. And I'm like, wait a second. Misty Step is just the thing that does. And you vanish into a mist of smoke, and then suddenly, boof! Hear the sudden feel of concrete and fall down towards your foot at the front of the door underneath his feet. For whatever reason, this barrier does not let you pass.
As she kind of splutters, regaining her step, and she goes, "I was like, I thought, never mind." And she just kind of main garden out, and well, wait.
All right, Warndell, you are now up. The water is now basically chest high towards where you are, funneling in now. You're going to have to, not yet actually, but shortly it will overcome you, you think.
Can I scurry over to one of those big, I'm not sure what the seashells things are, but like up on top of one of those?
Yeah, you can definitely get, one is an actual seat, the one kind of pointing at the other one, and then the one is a table. The one closest to you is a large table. You could climb up that for sure and get some distance, but it would take an athletics check or some kind of means to actually climb it. It is, comparatively to you, a really large table, obviously, because it's 4 giants. You have 2 routes of doing it. If you went to the chair first and then kind of climbed up the chair and then jumped over to the table, it would be less of a difficult kind of check, but obviously more movement. So,
All right. Yeah, I'll just start moving towards probably whatever one, probably the chair, or whichever. I think that's the lower one, right?
yeah, the chair is the lower one. It is about 20 feet away from you, and then you'll have to start climbing it. The table itself, I forgot that you might probably not be able to see. The table is 10 feet away from you, and probably, I don't know what a giant's table would be in length or height, probably like something like 15 feet maybe, I don't know, 10 feet.
All right. Yeah, Warren will turn and start moving towards this chair, seeing that Livy didn't get through that portal.
You head towards the chair. You still have 10 feet of movement once you get towards the chair, running. The water now pushing by you, kind of just like scurries you along, almost like you've been shoved by it. You look forth and see that Octavius and Liviant are hanging on in the water too, getting ready to act. Is there anything else you do? Climb or?
Are the windows given away quick, right?
Yeah, these. I guess I describe them as crabs, but these are hulking crabs. So they are huge in size, and just these massive, like powerful beasts that rival the size of giants, not beasts, crustaceans, I guess. They're the same size as a giant.
So he'll climb up on top of this chair, looking at these hulking crab creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Scene looks like Reich is planning something. So he's gonna turn to these things and stare at them for a few moments and kind of glances over his shoulder at this giant, trying to decide. Finally, figuring that these crabs are a little bit more of a pressing point at the moment. You can see his hair float back a little bit. The water around him crackles. I'm going to use banishment on these two crabs. I can twin spell it.
Oh, nice.
I'll mark that off. And I don't know. I can't tell what my AC. I think it's 19. I can't see that.
1 second.
Yeah, Charisma AC 19. Or DC 19.
Okay, and banishment. That's not how you spell it. Let me just pull it up. They need to make a charisma. All right.
Yes.
Ba-bum. Saving throw. One actually passed, surprisingly, even though their charisma is abysmal. Or wait, what was it? The DC's 18 or 19?
19.
Oh shit, then no, that's not even possible, I don't think. Let me see here. Because they have fucking -4. So yeah, they can't even save. The one guy rolled a 19, but he's not good. So yeah, they're both gone.
I can't see my notes section. Or my abilities. One of them has my twin spell, how many points it is, so
Okay.
I can mark it off.
All right, 1 second here. Yeah, I'll look that up for you too. And yeah, they are gonzo. Cool.
And I believe that's concentration, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
It is
for 1 minute.
concentration for 1 minute. And for sorcery points, it costs you. Let me look it up really quick.
I think it's like whatever the spell level is or something like that.
That's under meta magic, right?
Yes.
Okay. Twin spell is a total of. I thought this would be easier to find. 1 sorcery point for a cantrip, and then sorcery points equal to the spell's level to twin it.
Okay.
So whatever that
Gotcha.
gives you. Banishment is a 4th level spell. Yeah.
So I look over at Octavius and Rick Divine. Need to hurry up and get rid of the giant. This won't last long.
All right. So crab number 2 is banished.
And I'll hunker down the best I can in a defensive position on this chair.
Octavius Wren, what do you do? You're muted, sir. You're muted.
I'd look to Livy and say, I would imagine the princess would have another way out. Maybe see if you can try to find it. More and see if maybe her room can offer us some form of solace for a few minutes. And then I'd turn towards the giant, hearing more, and be like, I don't like you. I told you I was going to guard you. Let's do this thing.
Let's see who is the better guard.
And is the door magically locked behind him?
There's a magical barrier. You don't know what it is, but it just literally looks like this, almost kind of similar to the crystal glass, actually, but a little more translucent.
Can I tell anything about it with an arcana check?
If you like got over to it and expected it, you probably have a better chance. But at your distance, you'd probably be a pretty high DC. Like you're 20 some feet away. 30,
Right,
you're
so
actually
yeah,
30 feet away from it.
Shit. I'm gonna start yelling in giant. Just being like, you suck! And cast Destructive Wave.
All right, Livy is right in the way of that. Does it go off of friendly fire, or
Is she in between us?
she is right basically underneath his feet?
Oh shit! I didn't
Yeah.
realize that. Okay, sorry. Then I have another plan. I'm just gonna I'm gonna try to cast Dispel Magic on the magic barrier.
Oh, interesting. All right, so I believe this is actually possible. But let me just check Dispel Magic. I think there's like, it's like counter spell, I believe, where if it's a certain level of spell, you got to do some kind of check against it. Looking it up really quick.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I can't spell Dispel Magic apparently for some reason. So it is you use your casting modifier and go ahead and do so. And this is a you don't auto do it. So yeah, roll a what is wisdom your modifier? So just do a roll and then add your wisdom to it. Natural 20. It is gone.
Yeah. And I'll be like, get out of the way, giant.
All right. He is not going to do so. Sarissa is not here. Reich Liviant, the barrier has been dispelled, and you currently see water. As it does, the water was already beginning to pile up over in that room now. As it gets to your turn, it's actually it is now like chest high and going to be kind of imposing that difficult terrain for people that don't have better ways of getting around that. But as he dispels the barrier, the water suddenly begins to start pouring down the stairs and emptying the room a bit. So it probably would have went over your head if not for the dispel.
Well, probably over their head.
Yeah, true. Yeah, sure. You're taller than that.
And so I see that happened. I look at Octavius. I look at my other two friends and go, I think it's time to leave. And I start moving directly towards the door.
Okay.
And if the giant imposes itself in between me and there things will happen.
So the door is 40 feet away from you right now, and you're moving at a difficult terrain. So you have you normally have 40, right?
Yeah.
So you can make it halfway there with a regular movement.
Okay.
Do you want to dash, or do you want to do? Does a barbarian have something that, or I'm thinking of monk? I think that has something that can get over difficult terrain.
Yeah, you killed her. But
I did actually.
Yes. Yeah, you did, but I was there. But anyways, but yeah, no, I don't. But I'm going to rage as my bonus action.
Okay, move 20 feet.
And I want to get to a place where I am about 30 feet near each of my
all right,
party members.
I got you there. You're basically right underneath the chair where you see Warrendale climbing up and getting to the top of. You look over, and Reich Liviant is looking at the giant about 15 feet away. Livy's right underneath his feet in the other direction, 15 feet away. You are positioned, raging, yelling out, channeling a battle cry towards Orlektu, who is now up and says, "Oh, you plan to get out of here, do you? Well, let's see how you feel about this." Livy, go ahead and give me a grapple check, either athletics or dexterity, your choice. Good luck. What did you roll? 17? Okay.
That's good enough, right? That's good enough, right?
He reaches down and grabs you with a 24 to pick you up. And then he is going to start running.
Oh.
And then he is going to, with one attack, is it reach? He's not 10.
So the line that you moved through.
Yeah, it's opportunity attacks for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Do I get an opportunity attack?
You do not. He doesn't go through your area. But Reich Liviant and technically Warrendale would get opportunity attacks. Oh, good thing no one with Sentinel was nearby, or this would have been anticlimactic.
Do you have a map? If you
yeah, I do. Sorry, I thought I shared it. Oh yeah, you're not on it.
You probably did. It's probably before I got on.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So I'm not sure. Are you allowed to use cantrips for an opportunity, or does it have to be just your?
I think there's a feat to do that, and I do not believe you have it.
Warcaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have Warcaster to be able to cast as well.
That's So I thought, well, I got my staff.
All right, give him a bopping. Reich Liviant and Morndell. Natural 20. Dang, you guys need to chill out. And a 14. 14 misses, but natural 20 obviously gets through as the Blade of Lineage crits. Go ahead and do your damage.
Alright, so...
How many attacks does this son of a bitch get? 2. All right, 14. And that critted already for it, right? Yeah, it looks like it did. Next to your 5.
And I roll... Oh, no. Okay, so that's that.
Yeah, don't forget all your shit. You guys do so much stuff now that you're level 10 that it's daunting to remember half the stuff that you guys do.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to do.
You have something that gives you like bonus damage. I can't remember what it is, but I remember we forgot it for a couple sessions.
I'm trying to see if that put that in there. It doesn't look like it did, so...
Right now, all it rolled for you is 2d6 plus 6 for 9, and then another 2d6 for the crit. So that's all it rolled. So that's
that?
22 damage so far.
Uh-huh. And then... Alright, and then just don't I get something crazy because of the blade too?
The blade, I'm not sure if it does. Let's see. Let's look it up real quick. I have it in front of me also.
Yeah, on a critical strike, he's knocked prone.
Oh, damn, nice. He's knocked prone. All right.
And when raging, on each one of my turns, it takes extra damage equal to half 1d6 plus my barbarian level, which is necrotic or radiant. 1d6. So that's another 9.
Cool.
And that is going to be radiant damage.
Awesome. So that puts us at a total of 31 damage. You knock him prone. So as he tries to run by, you just jump up with the Blade of Lineage and just strike into him. And there's this burst of like ghostly radiant energy as you hear the battle cry of your ancestors channel into your rage. You knock him into the seashell table. He kind of falls over to himself, falling prone, but not dropping Livy. He picks himself up, which does change his movement a bit. He gets just out of reach of his... Oh, interesting. Of the window with his greatsword. So instead, he will spin around and grab the shell table. No, he won't do that. He's just going to huck Livy at the window and say, "You're not doing a very good job at guarding your friends." To you, Octavius. Livy, you're getting chucked for... This isn't going to feel the best, if I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah.
God, okay, she's used to this.
Yeah. You are, for some reason, always the one that gets bopped by these giants. Oh my fucking god. It hurts so bad. 25 damage as he throws you into the shattering glass. And with that, you burst through it.
Oh.
Suddenly, you feel water completely overcome you as you are sucked into the vortex outside. Holding your breath frantically, but struggling to do so as the impact knocked all the wind out of your breath. You're instantly beginning to choke and try to get your bearings. You try to grab onto some glass, but instantly feel yourself pulled into this massive swirling vortex underneath the sea. Something that's capable of sinking entire warships now has you and begins to pull. He spins around now, looking with only one action spent at Warrendale. And does he have a 10-foot reach from you? I believe he does. He does. And he is going to swing his greatsword at you. Wait, no, he doesn't have enough attacks. He threw and then... No, he threw. Okay, I'm lying. He does have enough attacks. Rolls a natural 1, which is probably the only way he can miss you, because I'm pretty sure he might even hit you with a natural 1. So, misses. As he swings into the table, though, or the chair, he does indeed splinter it in half. Give me a dex check to see if you can hang on to the shattered fragments of the chair as he breaks forth a big section of it.
I got a 17 on the die, but I don't know what my bonus is.
17 is more than good enough to hang on. Half of the chair is just sliced right off, but part of it's still kind of sitting. He doesn't cut off the legs or anything. You're hanging on for dear life. Livy chucked out of the window, breaking the glass finally. Water is now gushing in fully, and you look below, and Octavius is now having to swim. Same with Reich Liviant. What do you do, Warren, though?
Oh, I'm up already?
Yes. Or no, sorry, I skipped Livy. Almost forgot. Livy, at the start of your turn, you are 3,000 feet below water, so you're going to take pressure damage for every time you spend out in the water. Amazingly, only 6 additional damage. And you need to give me a strength saving throw to not be sucked along the vortex.
Well, it could have been worse.
All right, you are pulled along the vortex. It is an incredibly high saving throw. So we're going to say that it moves clockwise, clockwise, because that's the way whirlpools flow in this world, okay? And you are sucked that far into the water.
Okay.
Normally you'd be able to hold your breath for quite a long time, but I'm going to say being chucked into the glass that you're probably shortened.
I imagine this water is absolutely frigid too.
Yeah,
So
it is the
you
worst
like-
water. You're dying just being in it.
Real quick. And there's really nothing that I can have her do spell-wise that doesn't require a verbal component, so... Yeah.
Water doesn't
Yeah.
mean your voice doesn't work.
What's that?
I guess that will be up to Chris's discretion then, because
Yeah, so what I'm going to say is that I'm pretty sure that either Mike Merles or Jeremy sage advised this and said that you can actually speak underwater for verbal components. I think that's a little wonky, so what I'm going to say is that you can speak, but if you do speak a spell, that uses up all the air in your lungs. So starting the very next round, you're going to be making con checks to not fall unconscious due to water inhalation.
yeah, then I guess rope trick would be what she'd want to do. With the suction that's happening, does she know if she's gonna have to climb this rope, pull herself into it, or will she be able to cast that spell on the rope and then just...
Let's see the wording of it. You touch a length of rope that's up to 60 feet long. One end opens the rope, then rises into the air until it hangs, blah, 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 blah. Upper end. It doesn't say the distance of the rope, I believe. So I would say that you would have to climb a bit, but it's not going to be like this ridiculously long rope that you have to climb for 60 feet. I would say like 10 feet. It's movement worthy, yes.
Okay, cool. Then that's pretty much what she's gonna do to hopefully get out of this chaos that she's yeah.
All right. So cool. Yeah, you with the last desperate aspirate, you just speak out, reaching into your pack. You're frantically trying to pull around as you're being swirled upside down around. You instantly lose bearing and no longer even know where the window is. You finally find the rope in your pocket. You chant out the spell at the last burst of air in your lungs, and the rope, you feel it in your hands. You pull yourself as your vision begins to blur, and then suddenly you can no longer hold your breath. You gasp out, but luckily you've made it into the hole, the extra dimensional plane. Next up is Warrendale. For all you know, because obviously you don't see that going on, Livy has been chucked outside. The water is now basically becoming level with you and quickly starting to rise above you. This room is almost completely submerged. What do you do? Or half submerged, sorry, not completely submerged.
I mean, they're still in the water. That's a good question. All right. Warren's going to turn towards this thing, this giant on his one half of a chair at the moment, scrambling back the best I can to get out of his way a little bit. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna go with a lightning bolt since I don't want to break my concentration.
Yeah. Seems like a good
Right.
spell as
Yeah,
any.
he will step back kind of beside where Rick Leviant is, moving as far back as I can on this chair that I'm on. You can see his nose is starting to bleed a bit. His body trembles. I will just use up a lightning bolt. I can figure out. I can't tell what my damage is for. Oh, never mind. 86.
All
You want to
right.
just roll that for me? It'd be quicker than me. Trying to
Yeah,
roll
definitely. And it's a what level spell? It's a 3rd level spell. Okay.
Those. Yes, third.
86. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Oh,
6.
well, I got to make. I don't know the saving throw.
Yeah, saving throw is probably the same DC 19, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Dex.
Dex.
For half of them.
He doesn't even jump out of the way. As you pull your hands together, you begin channeling out the spell. You shoot out this rippling burst of lightning that streaks from your hand like a storm cloud. And then the giant just stands up and looks at you. A smile comes across his face, and he doesn't even make an effort to get out of the way. It slams into him. The room illuminates, completely blinding everyone for a moment but you. And then you see the giant standing there. Not a fleck on his body has been disturbed. He is immune to lightning damage. And he says, "You small folk clearly are imbeciles, aren't you? Lightning on a storm giant!" Ha ha ha! He laughs out.
I'll just smile, give him that wink. And that's it for the moment.
All right. Next up is Octavios. You've seen Livy sucked out of the room and vanished. You see a lightning bolt channel into this Orlecto, one of Warrendel's signature spells, but it does no damage to this entity. You're now swimming in water. It's above your head, so you're having to tread water to get up. That's already difficult as is, and you see that the table that has been almost chopped in half is now beginning to rise above that, and it's up to like Warrendel's waist. What do you do?
Octavius starts to look at the giant, furious, knowing that Olivia was just basically thrown out of the window. Knowing he doesn't have much time, looks up, looks to his friends, kind of nods to get out of the way if they can. He says, "You want to see how I protect my friends?" And I'm going to cast Destructive Wave against him, using not only the power of the Destructive Wave, but hopefully the water as well to push him either against the wall or out the window.
All right, that is a con saving throw, DC 15. Let's see what he's got. Wow, he's rolling so bad. But does he have something? No, he does not. He failed.
All right, so there's 1 damage. There's 2 damage, then one's necrotic and one's thunder, which probably doesn't hurt him much.
Yeah. One is thunder. Thunder damage he's immune to. So which one's the thunder? The top one?
The thunder is the 16, yeah.
Okay, 17 damage gets through, though.
And somehow I think I might knock him prone, so if I can use that in my advantage to try to push him up against the wall, or to, either knock him out the window.
Yeah. 1 second here. 48. Can I just say that he had a plus 10 to his fucking constitution and still failed a 15 DC? That's some bullshit. Yeah, you knock him prone, though, and with the water, he kind of just falls underneath it, causing this small, like, wave to flow along the room as you knock him prone. We'll just turn him upside down, so that's more visual. And you kind of send him flying a bit, for sure. Anything else on your turn?
I'll just say, I don't know what to do about Livy. I'll leave that up for everybody else. No, I'm done.
All right, Reich Liviant, you are now swimming in the water too, but luckily you can pull yourself up to the chair. You can still just barely stand on the chair as your turn comes around. This room is almost, it is going beyond halfway full now. What do you do? I'm assuming that you just kind of like take a step over and step onto the chair, or you can even pull yourself up onto the desk if you wanted to, and then not be in the, or still in the water but still standing. I'm assuming you don't want to swim, right?
No, I have no desire to swim because I'm gonna use Radiant Soul, and the incorporeal wings are gonna come out of his back. His eyes flash even a little bit brighter blue than they usually are, and he flies into the air.
Nice. So yeah, you're not swimming at all.
No. That's a bonus action. So, and then I am going to fly down, and he's on the ground.
He's prone, so he's actually underwater now.
All right, and I upon flying up, I grab Octavius by the back of his armor, and I would like to try to pick him up, put him on the table.
All right, so you got 30 feet to fly, or what is it?
Yeah, it's 30 feet.
So you can fly over 20 feet to Octavius. That leaves you with 10 feet to bring him over, another 10 feet to put him on the table if you want, or the chair.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do so. I'm not going to make you make a strength check or anything, because that seems kind of ridiculous for a barbarian to not be able to just...
Stupid strong,
Yeah. And then anything else on your turn, action-wise?
I am going to position myself kind of just in front of my friends here,
Okay,
so that he'll have to come to me before he goes to them.
gotcha.
And just looks about to where the window is and goes, "She's really crafty. I'm sure she's okay."
Orlecto is now up. He is going to...
Prone,
Or he's going to... Actually, you wait for him to stand up. And he doesn't, as the room begins to fill more and more. And he kind of vanishes for a moment underneath the water. You're looking for him. And then you see like this kind of almost like something barely breaching the surface, like that kind of ripple of water begin to torpedo towards you guys. And then suddenly he burst up in front. His big storm giant form burst the surface of the water, causing it to splash everywhere. And he is going to... Oh, interesting. Nah, this looks like a better plan. Give me a strength or acrobatics. So athletics or acrobatics check, Mr. Octavius.
Even with me trying to impose myself in between them.
Yeah, he's going for the Wren who sent him a destructive wave. You can't really... Is there something that you can do to cause him to not go after you?
If Tavios gets thrown out into the whirlpool, will he get a chance to grab the rope and climb to safety?
Like we're talking so insurmountable, but maybe, you never know. It's D&D, right? Anything can happen. You fail. He grabs you in his hands. He's no longer prone. And then he is going to huck you at the window. There's basically no way he can fail. Rolls a 30 to throw you, so that's obviously going to throw you. And you get launched. How far is that?
Wouldn't the water slow me down when I hit the water?
You are like, he can throw you. He can baseball pitch you above the water. You're nothing to him, so he can throw you straight through the glass. You're into the water also. You take a total of 22 damage. And he will spin around to the winged... No, I don't know. He knows that Warndal casted a spell. So he's not dumb. I think he would actually attack Warndal. And he rolls a 26 to hit you, Warndal. I'm assuming you can't even shield that. You're muted, but I'm assuming there's nothing a wizard or sorcerer can do to block that. So you take 24 damage as he just, with a powerful spin around and just great swords you right to the gut, completely smashing the chair as he goes through.
Yeah, about that.
Oh, you got a thing.
I'm gonna roll 3d6 and I'm gonna reduce that by that much.
Nice. That was actually so much better for you. I fucking knew you had a thing too. I should have just attacked you.
Yep.
3d6, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And that's your what ability?
That's Spirit Shield.
Nice. So you only take, instead of 24 damage, you take 12 damage.
Okay.
And you need to get a Constitution saving throw, so I can bring back my crab friends, please. If you want to just roll a 1, I'd appreciate that.
Well, I got a 13. I don't know what my con save modifier is, though.
You're fine. Right now you have to roll greater than a 10, so you can't maintain the spell. So yeah, you like see this great sword swinging towards you, and you fear for your life, but suddenly it's as if like these spectral ghosts impose themselves, and then you hear like a clank, and as the sword does hit you, you see that Livian is now standing beside you with his blade out, and there's just these spectral forms coming from him as he has like blocked half of the blow, and is trying to just like go toe to toe with the giants. That is his 2 turns up. Livy, you are in an interesting predicament in extra dimensional space. Are you doing anything? I'm assuming that you don't want to go back out into the water. But I literally don't even know what you're going to do.
Prestidigitation, not cold anymore, not wet anymore.
Yeah.
I'm also curious, I was trying to read the description, if I'm able to see out of the space if I'm in it, or...
You can poke your head out, I'm pretty sure. The rope can be pulled.
She's not going to poke her head out. She's going to take a... to kind of get her bearings. She may pull up the rope at some point, but right now there's 60 foot of rope just flapping around.
Yeah, you can see out of it, it says.
Okay, cool. So, she'll cheer Tavios on. She sees him enter the water as she's doing her stuff. Like,
yeah.
Tavios! Can't hear her, but Tavios!
I don't even know if you would see him, though. He's like 50 feet away from you, and I imagine the hole is probably just going straight down. So you probably don't get like a 3D view of it. You just see like what's below you.
And is she like, would you see her as being suspended in the space where the spell was cast, or is she actively still swirling around? Like, is her dimensional space?
I honestly have no clue. I'm gonna rule it as you're just suspended in that area. There's some interesting rules we're getting into. I'm not sure if there's a right answer, but in my mind, there's just like a little black hole, like a Looney Tunes kind of hole that is just like sitting in space with a rope tickling out of it. And you can just look like straight down into the swirling. You actually see like this ginormous shark swim by below, causing this shadow many feet below. Anything else?
That's correct.
Nope. She's not going in that water quite yet. She's catching
All right. Warrendale, you are now up.
How far away is Octavius from me?
He went out the window, but the ruler is saying roughly 50 feet.
And the window is smashed. Like, I could fit through the window, right?
Yeah, the window is now like a big gaping hole. Now water is like free pouring through it. You are now having to swim. I'm assuming that Livian would just fly up until the room is full, but if he doesn't, he'll have to swim also. The room is like 3/4 full now, and he's going to quickly run out of room to even fly in.
Right. Octavius will snap his head over, Warren, seeing Octavius out there. Gonna use Misty Step. That would get me up to the door, or where the hole is in the window, I would assume.
30 feet brings you roughly, I think, another 10 feet away from the window, and then 15, 20 feet away from Octavius.
Okay. I'm not hindered by water for my storm sorcery thing. So basically, I wanted to get past this thing. I'll just run for this hole in the window and dive through it if I can, trying to get to Octavius. All I'm trying to do is touch him.
All right. Are you saying that you can
I can
walk?
swim for 30.
You can swim for 30? Okay, interesting. You are going to go out to the water, though, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so immediately as soon as you go, that takes you 10 feet to get out into the water. As soon as you hit the vortex, though, you feel the power of it. You need to first take 2d6 damage for just being out there, 6 damage. And then you need to give me a strength saving throw to not be pulled by the current.
Unless you need a con save for the
concentration. Yeah, you might as well too. Although 10 is your save.
18 on that.
You're good.
I don't know what my strength is, but I got a 15 on the die.
Yeah, and your thing is just swim speed, right? It's not like
yes.
Water can't affect you. Okay, so yeah.
Nope.
So your strength is a total of 0. So you rolled a 15.
Yep.
You are unfortunately pulled along the water's current also.
All right, that still works just fine on my end.
All right. Yeah, so basically when you fail once you get out into the vortex's basically current, you have to make a save in order to have any movement in it. It's just this massive swirling whirlpool. All right, let's change the perspective here. All right, next up is Octavius. Give me a strength saving throw. And you're going to take some damage. Oh, freedom of movement. Does that actually help you, you motherfucker? 4 damage. And freedom of movement, let's look at it. You touch a willing creature for the duration of the spell. You're unaffected by difficult terrain. The spell's magical effect. So this isn't difficult terrain. You're not being paralyzed or restrained. So I don't think you would cast this because you...
I thought you said that it was rapids. Wouldn't rapids be difficult terrain? Like the current be difficult terrain?
Well, technically, it's not... swimming is difficult terrain, so you could still swim, I guess. But it doesn't let you negate the current per se. So you're still going to be sucked along the current. You can just actually finally being underwater imposes no penalties on target's movement.
One second. At the very end of the spell, it specifically says
yeah,
water.
Yeah. That's true. That's interesting. I'm reading it. Yeah. I'm trying to wonder. I feel like in my mind, yeah, sure, whatever. I'll give it to you.
Okay. I'm assuming Warren's within 30 feet of me.
Yeah, it's a 4th level spell, so yeah, I'll give it to you. He is actually from you. He is, God damn it, ruler. He is 45 feet away.
You see, I'm not really in too much trouble. If you're trying to do anything, I'd wave you off.
How far is Livy from me?
You don't know where Livy went. You can make a perception check.
Portal and a rope.
You can make a perception check.
There's just a weird rope hanging out in the current.
Yeah, you can make you know what Livy does. So if you spot the hole, give me a perception check. You are in like a swirling vortex.
Yeah, no, fair enough, absolutely.
Yep.
18.
Yeah, you see the hole. You see this black hole with a rope through it, and I'm gonna say that you've seen Livy cast this before, so you kind of know what it is. She's even further away though.
I'm just gonna try to swim to the rope. All I want to do is grab the rope and then hopefully get her dimensional. I can hopefully tow her dimensional portal back inside.
All right, so I'm going to say that since you're swimming with the current, that your speed can be doubled, because that makes sense to me since you now gain a swim speed. So you can swim right to the rope. What do you want to do with it, though?
I'm just going to try to head back towards the room now.
Okay, you can't pull the hole with you. It is suspended there. So if you were to go pull the rope, it would just basically, like, I imagine, like, pull tug.
Yeah.
All right, well then at this point I think it's best for me to try to jump into Livy's dimensional portal and hopefully catch a breath of air.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
If she sees you, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna say this. Come.
Yeah, you swim up and you gasp for air. You two are in Warrendale. You watch this happen because you're close by, so you're not confused either. Next up is Reglivian. This is a mess. Reglivian, all of your friends have just jumped out 3,000 feet below water into a massive vortex. It's just you and the giant now. Where the hell did you go? Oh, you're underneath him.
I'm underneath the giant.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that you think they're my friends. But anyways.
Hey, you called me friend earlier. I took note of that.
I think you're referring to Livy.
I did. Yes, and I do like Livy. But I'm not going out of that water. You got to be out your goddamn mind.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm gonna try a thing that I don't know how this is to work.
All right.
But we're both soldiers.
Yep.
Being this giant. So I'm gonna try to use my military rank their feature.
Okay, interesting.
And try to talk to him a little bit. Because again, Rank isn't dumb. He just doesn't like to talk a lot.
Yep.
And he looks at him and he goes, "Your queen, I'm sure will be very impressed with how much you're doing to her loyal subjects. Your queen, not her sister that is trying to overthrow her that you're clearly in collusion with.
He says, our queen has a soft heart. And she has become consumed with you small folk.
No.
The very race that killed Queen Neri and King Hecaton. She is a soft queen.
Sir. We have very solid information that we know where King Hecaton is. And we're going to go get him once we've figured out what's going on with your family. You are very clouded by the fact that the woman that you're in love with and that you serve, you say, unlike your queen, is going to overthrow all of this. And you're going to have some boon from this, sir? Is that what you think?
Will be queen. And she will be the greatest queen
King
the Storm
Hecaton's
Giants.
And take care of all of this.
He doesn't seem like he's buying it. So, do you want to do a regular action?
Yeah, I'm going to fly 30 feet towards the door.
All right. He is going to use his Sentinel ability. Does that overcome? How does Sentinel work? Let me just make sure I'm not cheating.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be... he's right on top of me. He was literally standing on top of me.
Yeah, but you can disengage. Sentinel doesn't let you disengage.
I would have to use an action to disengage, which I can't.
Creatures... Oh, you can't use an action to disengage?
Well, I don't want to.
Okay, so yeah, he's going to bop you then. Yeah. Remember that time, Dan, you remembered Sentinel? Remember that time that I also remembered Sentinel? There's a reason.
Yeah.
So, let's go. He's going to try to hit you. 33. Does that just sink by your AC by chance?
Not at all.
Oh, good.
By no means.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, misses.
So he hits you for half of this damage. So half of 35 for a total of 15 plus 17, yeah. And then your speed becomes 0. Unfortunately.
Okay. So then I try to move, and now I'm going to hit him.
Yep. You 17. AC is you hit.
All right. So it is 9 plus 7 plus 10 because of the wings.
9 plus 7 plus 10. Okay.
That's the first attack. Now my second attack.
15 misses.
15 misses. You're blinded. You're blinded by the love for someone you can't have. Must be nice.
So yeah, you spin around after he sinks his sword into you, basically then grabbing onto you, pulling you back. You're forced to fight. You begin to sink your blade into him, going back and forth. You say that, and he says, "For too long, Hecaton has been soft-hearted towards his daughter Sarissa, and now that she leads us into oblivion. Mirren is strong. She is wise. She will do what needs to be done." And then he will go to
genocide.
He will try to grab you.
Wonderful.
Go ahead and make a acrobatics or strength check. You might actually be able to dodge this one if you roll good. You dodge the first one, as you kind of seen him do this multiple times now. He goes in again, though, and tries to grab you a second time. Go ahead and roll. This time, you do not escape, though, as he puts you in his hand, and he says, "I wouldn't expect a puny rodent like you to understand." and then he will run and jump through the window with you in his hand. That ends his turn. Olivia, sorry, you're up. Livy.
Yep, she's here. And totally thrilled to see Tavio's in. Are you okay? Pretty much. Prestidigitation, dry you off. And where are the others? Are they still in there? Do you have a way to... I don't know how to get back in there. It is cold and the current and...
I can swim you back in, but we have to fight that giant still.
Livy, you look down as you're speaking and you see again a big shadowy mass that swims by, two large fins, this black as night figure, and a big kind of tail pushing behind it. It swims underneath the hole momentarily, and then it's gone.
Yeah, that also worries me, as she like points at the
What's that? What is it?
sharpish thing.
I can't see anything.
Something big. And if there's anything I know about the waters, there are monsters. Okay, you say you can swim us back? And if Tavius is confident that he can get her back, then she'll be willing to jump out with him.
All right.
But
You want to like ready your action to just jump
much.
out? Okay.
reaction to follow Tavios.
All right. Warrendale, you normally would be the one who is next. But you too see this big black mass. Sleek black skin, and as it swims by, these two large, powerful fins thrust it through the air, a tail waving behind, a white underbelly, and two black, beady eyes swim towards you, this enormous creature. Give me a perception check.
12 on the die.
12 on the die. This thing is close and it's massive and its mouth is coming towards you. Then suddenly you hear I don't want to do the noise because I'm gonna bomb it. But I've already said I gotta do the noise now. You hear a and recognize a killer whale in the form of Laboon, now swimming right towards you. He comes up and opens his mouth. You think at first to swallow you.
I've read this story before.
But then he stops just in front of you and then lets out another one of those absolutely on point, majestic whale noises that I just made.
I
now
would recognize it as what's her face as well, right?
Yeah, it had like a distinctive scar around its eye, and this one has the exact same one. You take 11 points of damage from just being out in the water, so make a Constitution saving throw.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. You remain calm. Are you tracking your HP, or should I be doing it for you?
Nope, I got it right here.
Okay, so another 11 points. What do you do as Laboon, the killer whale of Sarissa, swims up to you? He seems to be nudging you frantically. You don't speak whale. You know if this thing wanted to have its way with you. Oh, my mistake. One of the languages you take.
Yes.
Yeah. He seems to be in a bit of a he's nudging you though and kind of calling out. Perfect.
Nah. I would just motion and point. It's where Rick Leviant and this whatever his name is, giant is just kind of waving whatever the thing's name is off, showing them that I'm perfectly fine.
It doesn't leave. It nudges you again.
Can I tell if it wants something?
It seems Give me an insight, I guess, or an animal handling, either or.
Ooh, that's a 5.
5. Yeah, you don't know what the fuck this thing wants.
One of those times where my whale speaking underwater just isn't up to par.
Yeah, I know, right? You really missed out choosing that as a dump stat.
Dialect.
Yeah, you speak beluga, not killer.
Yeah, I have no idea what this thing wants. So.
All right, what do you do on your turn then?
Well, I guess, am I 30 feet within getting back into that room or not? Either way.
You actually, I forgot that you need to still make your saving throw, right? Because you don't have
to see how far I go.
Come party with us. Come hang out with us.
Well, can I see?
Yeah, you can see the rope, but first you need to overcome this to be seeing if you're getting swept away or not.
19.
19. You are still pulled, but as you go to pull, you quickly find out what Laboon wants. As you're getting pulled away from the water, he overcomes you, and then suddenly you see his pearly white teeth and his big pink tongue, and then darkness as Laboon swallows you. Or not swallows you, but puts you in his mouth. And then now you're inside of its mouth. There's still water and everything, but you're not being pulled by the current.
I guess I'm going for a ride. I'll just pat his tonsils and hang on.
All right, anything else you want to do?
Do I actually? Yeah, I would have an action left. Can I hold it?
Yeah, you can hold an action for what? What's the?
Just if I had a line of sight to either get away, or if this just giant is within range of one of my spells, I can do something. But,
yep. So yeah, we will.
I mean,
do you want to?
There's nothing else I could do. So
do you want to ready an action for a getaway or ready an action for a spell? You'd have to choose one or the other.
I seem to be safe for the time being, so I guess a spell on this giant if I get a chance to do it. Otherwise, I seem safe at the moment. So.
All right, Octavius, you're getting ready to jump out into the water, and then you see that mask go by too, and you're just kind of like, what is that? And then you look, and then for a moment you're panicking. A shark is flying right towards Warrendale. Oh no, it ate him. He's dead. And then you realize that it's not a shark. It's a killer whale. And then you see that distinct scar on the whale, and you recognize it because you fed him yourself once. Laboon.
Did I hear him make any of the majestic and regal whale noises that are awesome DMing?
I imagine you did.
And you heard Warren replying with his own awesome.
Yes.
Octavius peeking down into the water would cast tongues.
Nice. Tongues.
So that I could understand the killer whale and what he was trying to tell us.
And that just lets you touch. You got to touch creature you touch, the ability to understand and speak. So I guess you just jump out into the water and touch him?
Yeah.
You touch him, and then he calls out again. Which translates to, Sarissa's in danger. Please, come with me. I'll take you to her.
We need to get our friend.
Yes. Sarissa is in danger.
We will come now.
All right. You jump into his mouth then?
Yeah, and but I'll peek up into the dimensional portal really quick and be like, hey, Livy, it's good. Come on.
You look down and then suddenly see the open maw of a killer whale just like waiting to engulf the hole. You see Warrendale and Octavius.
I'm just hanging on to the tonsils.
Yeah.
Well, she has absolute faith in Octavius. Is like, yeah. Takes a deep breath, jumps down, and just that awful ucky coldness.
It's gross and cold, but the water is not hurting you at least, and there's a couple like fish bones caught in its teeth, a little smelly, or probably not smelly because you can't smell underwater, but it's not the best, but there's worse.
She's breathing, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Although I guess technically who would have got to act first before Livy jumped is Liviant, who is still engaged with this giant. He is going to let go of you, so you need to make a strength saving throw and take this damage from the water. 7 damage from the water. I will drag that on. I just realized that I didn't give you your damage last time.
What type of damage is that?
Bludgeoning. So half. Yeah, half. Good job. Good call. All right, so 3, and then last turn you took 17, so you're at 20 damage. All right. Anything else on your turn? Or strength saving throw first.
Can you just tell me what my max health is?
Yep. Your max health is 61. Yeah. Strength saving throw to not be sucked along by the water. 25 succeeds. You get to do your regular movement, and you keep basically not pulled by the water.
All right, so I'm still engaged with this.
Yes, still engaged with him.
And how far away from the whale am I?
You are a total of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 feet. But when you swim with the current, your movement is doubled. So normally you don't have a swim speed, I believe. So you'd be down to 20. But since you're not since you're swimming with the current, it goes back up to 40, if that's not confusing enough for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try to swim towards the
Whale?
the orca.
Yep. Disengage this time or no? I guess it doesn't matter because Sentinel creatures provoke opportunity attacks even when they disengage. So you still gotta survive his attack. Let's see what he does.
I've only got a 15 AC, dude.
I'm sorry, I rolled a natural 20. This is gonna hurt a lot. Whew. Luckily you half this, but 48 damage. So 24 damage. All right. Jesus, that guy fucking hits like a truck. And unfortunately, your speed becomes 0. Sentinel is nasty.
Oh, I'm gonna hit him again.
Hit him again.
Oh, I'm gonna do reckless.
All right, that seems like a good time.
So that would give me advantage. That's a natural 20.
There you go. Crit him back. Roll again to see if you do all your hits first, and then we can resolve the crit later. That works too, actually. 19.
And then crit 2 of these. Man, I just love the way that works. That's another 8.
Okay.
And I theoretically is still flying, in theory.
Yep.
Because the wings are still out. So that is another one of these. Wait, no, it's 2 more of those. Because everything, all those are doubled.
All right.
That's 13 on top of that. So it's 19 plus 8.
I got it. 40 damage.
13. Yeah. And then, because I'm reckless. Advantage again.
Another hit.
22. And they're 15.
15 damage on top of that.
Well, and then this one. And another 14, so 15 and 14 is 29.
Okay. All right. Another 29 damage. Jesus Christ. So, what this looks like. So, as you go to swim away and get back with your friends, you feel the greatsword again come down on you and then him grab you and pull you in. You're forced to fight. You spin around and meet his blow, slashing him right across the face, cutting him this big gaping scar across his face. The blood pours out into the water, radiant damage kind of bursting out. You stab into him again. You have single-handedly, basically, I think actually almost entirely, besides Octavius' spell, bloodied a storm giant.
Mm-hmm.
He would gurgle out. Actually, he can actually breathe water. So he says, "You are an honorable fighter. I shall remember this duel." And then he will go to swing at you, trying to finish you off. This is going to hurt, my friend. 26 to hit and 25 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
First one is 35 halved again for 17, And then the second one is 26 halved for 13. So a total of 30 more damage. You are at 84. Critical hit. Livy, you are now in the mouth of the whale. Laboon, there's not a whole lot you can do. You don't see very much besides your friends in the darkness faintly. You might not even see them at all without any proper lighting in human vision. Is there anything that you want to do, or are you just along for the ride for now? You're muted.
She's along for the ride. So. Yeah, she's good. She's
Prestidigitation to clean the inside of the whale's mouth.
I think the whale's mouth's gonna be opening.
Give him a little dental hygiene with prestidigitation. Start just polishing up his teeth. All right. Do you want to ready in action or anything?
Hey, Chris, he takes 7 more.
7 more. Cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just forgot about Brutal.
No worries.
She grips her rapier. Not sure what that's gonna really help with, but you never know.
All right, Laboon is up, and he says to you, Dan, or Octavius, who understands him now, that one of your friends is in trouble. We gotta save him, but I think I'm gonna have a hard time getting away. Can you guys do anything from in there?
Yeah, just try to get us closer.
All right, then he
I
comes.
will try to make sure you can escape.
He goes slamming into the giant, hitting him and doing. Holy fuck! These guys hurt. I didn't know killer whales kill so well. 174. I shouldn't tell you what he's at. Just kidding. You don't know anything. He bites into him, opening up his mouth, which I guess you said you had a spell ready, right, Warrendale?
Oh, jeez. I wasn't expecting that to happen, so yes, but yeah.
You see the arm of the giant just in the thing being ripped, bloodied in his mouth now, so you just see some giant flesh expose the forearm.
I was just going to do a simple firebolt.
All right. Underwater firebolt. Let's see how this goes.
It's arcane.
Yeah.
I think it's +9.
Better than lightning, right?
I got a 13 on the die. I think it's +9. Maybe.
Yeah, checking your spellcasting modifier. It is indeed. It's a +10 actually.
So yeah, 23.
Hits.
And 2d10. I got a 9 and a 2, so yeah, what, 11?
11 more damage.
Damage.
Ooh, he's in trouble. All right, Laboon is done because he's not done, but like he has to get like Liviant. He will, I guess, open his.
4 is still pretty good, right?
He will open his mouth to let you in, Livian, if you want in. Do you go in?
Absolutely.
All right, he swallows you and will try to swim away, but that is going to provoke an opportunity or a sentinel attack. So I have a feeling that.
Can I technically use the ring power to take the damage from inside the whale's mouth using the power of Ilmater?
Yeah, probably.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I forget how the spell works, so you read the wording on it for me as I roll.
As a reaction, you can take the damage of an ally within 30 feet. You can use this once per day.
All right, you take 36 damage.
Done, no problems.
All right, I'm going to say it still reduces his speed to 0, though, so you guys are all in the whale now. But Laboon is getting beat down. Warrendale.
He's getting away though, right?
He is.
Sentinel didn't stop him because of the thing.
I think the Sentinel. Oh yeah, I wonder how that would work. Let's see. You hit a creature, so it doesn't say you have to do damage to the creature. So as long as you hit him, he.
Well, did the giant already use his opportunity reaction this turn?
Oh, interesting.
New turn.
Yeah, he did. You're right. Thank you. Good catch.
Saving my friend.
Yeah, no 36 damage for you. He begins to swim away. Nice catch. I would have cheated you guys hard there.
I don't have to.
I'm just going along for the ride then.
Or wait, did he use his reaction though? I'm trying
I
to
know you
think.
did on Reich, but I didn't know if it was the same round.
No, so yeah, sorry, you do take the 36 because his
Uh-huh.
turn had happened. Yeah, I don't want to fuck that up. Sorry. So yeah, he is not getting away. Anything on your turn?
Do. I'll look over at that Octavius. Where is it he's going? Ask him where he's going. Where does he want to go?
Where do we go? Oh, he wants to go see if Sarissa's in trouble. He's bringing us to her.
Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. You don't speak underwater.
Well, I want to get away from this. So I could use Dimension Door, and I can take somebody with me. If I hang on to his tonsils, I guess he can go with me.
Dimension Door has to be a creature of the same size or
Same
smaller.
size.
He's
Yep, I just read that.
he's a huge creature.
So yeah, I can't really do anything to help.
Yeah, I was just making sure. I didn't think that there's really much you can do in this situation.
No.
All right, Octavius, anything? You see that what you do see in this blackened whale's mouth is that Reich Liviant's pretty badly hurt. Livy's hurt. You're hurt. The whale's hurt.
Actually,
Whale's not hurt.
you only took 29 damage their run
Maybe
yeah.
I could.
because of the spiritual.
Is there any air pockets at all within the whale's mouth?
Probably not. I don't really know whale anatomy, but unless I'm wrong, but I imagine there's just water in there.
If Pinocchio taught me anything, we got.
Yeah. I was just about to say the same thing.
You could live in a well for years. Just saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I actually watched a YouTube video that said that it's actually impossible in real life to survive in a whale, so fuck you guys.
Be prepared.
Can I cast a spell underwater?
Are you saying Disney lied to me?
Yeah, Disney has lied to you. I've watched the YouTube. I got the receipts. You can cast a spell, but it basically will take the air out of your lungs. So normally you can hold your breath for however many minutes your con modifier is. I'm going to say that for each spell you cast on that breath, you're going to lose a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna ask the whale. Turn around. I'll try to get him away from us.
I am turned around.
Then open your fucking mouth.
Okay, he opens his... Oh, wait, look at him?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess he spins, or... Yeah, sure, he spins around and looks at him.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast Destructive Wave to try to hurt and push this giant away from us.
Jesus, how many destructive waves do you
I only
have?
had 2 level 5 spells. This is my second one, so.
Alright. And what does it shoot out? Is this gonna... What is the line of sight? You strike the
That
ground.
was on Livy. I didn't mean to do it on Livy.
You strike the ground. So are you striking the whale's tongue to send out this destructive wave? Because I imagine that would hit the whale's tongue.
I'm actually clapping.
I don't think it works quite like that. As per...
I'm slamming it down on my own knees to take the pain and suffering on my own body.
I don't think... Yeah, sure. I'll give it to you. Whatever, it's cool. You strike your knee for some reason. Sure. All right. Each creature you choose within 30 feet. So, all right, no, that's interesting weirding. Yeah, I'm gonna say you have to strike yourself. So yeah, go ahead and he has to make a Constitution saving throw.
15, I think.
All right, his con is ridiculous. Let's see if I can actually not fail this for one time. There he is. Yeah, he rolled a 27 to save, so he takes half damage and it's not knocked prone.
He takes half of that and half of that.
0 of
Thunder,
that,
he
and
half because the first one's thunder.
yeah, so he takes 7 damage.
Wait, and he doesn't get prone. So if it pushes him away at all, with at least 10 feet, so that we don't have an opportunity attack.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Doesn't look like he is pushed prone. Right, Liviant, you are now up. I'm assuming there's really not a whole lot you can do for in the mouth whale fighting. He closes his mouth basically as the destructive wave comes out for fear of you guys getting sucked out. He doesn't just swim with his mouth open. Passing or doing something?
I am going to use Healing Hands on myself.
Nice.
To heal 10.
All right. Orlecto is going to elect to disengage and swim away. He is really badly fucking hurt and does not want to die out here. He wants to live to see Marine become queen, so he is gone. He doesn't know what you guys are up to, which leaves you guys into the abyss. And Laboon says, he's swimming away. I'm going to bring you to Sarissa now.
Okay.
And begins to quickly descend downwards at first. I guess you don't really know, but you just feel him swimming for a couple of minutes. You guys are actually going to need to make Constitution saving throws to hold your breath.
I don't have
But
to.
you said it's to our modifier, right?
Yeah, but unless you have like a fucking +10 modifier, you're gonna be running out of breath. It's like it's over a 5-minute swim.
Oh, all right.
What even happens if you fail? I think you just take like a.
Exhaustion, I think.
No, I guess I could look it up if anyone
Can we
fails.
cast rope trick inside a whale?
I mean, technically, do you want to do that?
Livy couldn't. She's out of second level
Okay.
spells.
Cool, yeah. I think you probably could have, yeah. I'll look that up for another time because it looks like you all passed. What did you roll, Livy, for con? And I'll start looking it up just in case.
I thought I did roll, but I guess it didn't go through. Let's try again.
Drowning.
Okay, cool. I survived.
All right, I don't have to look up the rules for it. Perfect. You guys eventually make it, and you hear him quietly breach the surface of something. But he does it. He begins to slow down after a while, and as you're holding your breath, you're really kind of hoping that he would speed up. But something causes him to slow down, and after a while, he does poke his head up. And then he speaks to you before going and says, "Be quiet. We need to not be caught here. Element of surprise." And you feel him poke up in the water and hear voices as he slowly opens his mouth up just a bit for you to hear what's going on. And you hear a feminine voice that you recognize as Mirren. And she says, "Sister, you have put all of your trust in these puny folk." Another voice speaks up, known as Nims. "Yeah, sister, puny rodents. They are the same race that has killed our mother." "Oh, how she has killed our mother. It hurts so much, our sweet, sweet mother." Nim, "We have trusted you, and you have sat idly now. You have returned as one of them." She then says, "We have trusted you, and you have failed us, sister. It will be only a matter of days now before the giant lords return and demand action, and they will see you in this pitiful form. We cannot bear it. No, we cannot, sister. We, as the council, have deemed you unfit to serve as queen. We will be asking you to step down from the throne. Please hand over your scepter. And if you guys want, you can try to kind of peek and see where you are.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that.
Give me a perception check."
I have a plan, motherfucker.
You have a plan, do you?
Oh, you know it. I come
Alright.
plan ready.
All right.
I got a 14.
14?
Thank
Okay.
God somebody got over 10.
So yeah, you guys would see, let me just fix my combat tracker here. And then as soon as I get this all straight. Ba-boom. And then you guys are in the whale's mouth over here. Livy, Warrendale. And then this. But you see that you are in the throne room. And as you peek up, you're in that center pool that you remember Laboon was kind of like playfully splashing you guys in last time you were in the throne room with Sarissa. You see that Nim currently has Sarissa grabbed by the arms, since she is much bigger than Sarissa in this current form. and you see that Mirren now draws out a sword and points it at her sister. Looking around, those who rolled higher than the terrible roll that I see. Did anyone roll good, actually?
Just my 14.
Oh, 14. So yeah, only you really see this, I guess. You see that Mithram is currently standing right beside where the throne should be. And I will share the map now. They have not noticed you yet. And I will link the view of where you guys are. And then Sarissa, after this kind of monologue, or not monologue, but speech goes from Mirren, says, "Sisters, what are you doing? Stop this at once. Mithram, tell them. This is treachery. Tell them to stop. Where's Uthor? I want to speak to my uncle. Surely he would not be condoning this foolishness. You said he was sick. Where is he? I demand that you bring me to him at once." Nim whispers back excitedly, "Oh, my sweet sister, you don't get to make no demands no more. But don't you worry, sister. Uthor is not hurt. He was just too thick-headed to see the truth. His love for you has blinded him, and he is not capable of what must be done. But I think he will forget us when he sees how much of a better ruler I am than you are." Mirren says, "You ruler? What do you mean, you dim-witted idiot? I will be the ruler." And then Nim says, "Dim-witted? What do you mean? You are boring and loafish. I would be a much better queen than you." And then they start to bicker. Mithram cuts them off. Girls, silence. We do not need you squabbling at a time like now, for the giant lords will soon be here and demand action. We can decide which one of you will make a better ruler. For now, bring the scepter to me. We will pick one of you as queen shortly." And Mirren goes to grab the scepter from Sarissa.
Is there anything we can do?
Yeah, at any time. Feel free to speak up, because as you're doing so, you notice that Sarissa has wiggled free and has grabbed onto the scepter and then channels a spell, and the Wormskull throne appears in front of her. And she says, "I will not allow this. This is treachery. Stop!"
Sarissa is free of their grasp?
Not free, but currently has summoned forth the Wormskull throne. And yeah, like I said, anytime you guys want to jump in, jump in. Otherwise, yeah. Mirren is reaching for the scepter right now.
I'm jumping in. Octavius will jump out of the whale's mouth and be like,
Guys.
"Queen! I'm going to try to surprise them. Some kind of, I know it's hard to believe, but I'm going to try to actually persuade, or what's the other one? I can't remember shit. I'm going to try to intimidate them so that they release her, and get them to step back by just screaming, 'Take your hands off of my queen!'"
All right, go ahead and do an intimidation check. And I think it's at that point that we'll go roll initiative. Oh, natural 20. Nice. All right. They definitely are shocked that you are there and jump, and Nim squeals, being surprised by you, and lets go of Sarissa.
Do I have an action, or do I have to roll? Let's go. If I don't,
yeah, that's going to put us into initiative now. So everyone roll that really quickly. And Livian's 21. Livy with an 8 is in the initiative. What is Mr. Warrendale roll?
I got a 15 on the die.
15 on the die plus 1, I believe. So 16. We got Octavius in. We got Reich in. So at this point, we'll take a quick couple-minute break. I really need to use the washroom, and then we're going to get to what happens. So take literally less than 5 minutes or whatever, and we'll jump back and resolve this, okay? BRB. I am back. Let me check your character sheets really quickly because something important is going to become useful information. Ba-boom, ba-boom. No, we cannot continue with whale talk only. That was paining me. It's like some
That is so fun sounding.
some Finding Nemo be real quality. All right, cool. I thought so. Can you see the roles in Fantasy Grounds at all? Warrendale? Like if I type this into chat, will you see it? Boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Let's do that. Actually, I shouldn't do this just yet. Hold on, let me just do a test first.
I can see the little chat window thing.
Okay, so then yeah, you should speak it then. Ba-boom, ba-boom. So I'll just ready that because that's going to become very important in a couple seconds. All right, everyone. Nope, everyone's not back. That's okay. Let me see if I'm. So everyone having a good Saturday? Saturday?
Very good.
That's what I like to see. It says we have...
Went to Quattro today, actually.
Did you, for dinner?
No. Just walked through the halls. There was some kind of trade show thing happening in the back.
Oh, nice.
Sheila created this cool little crocheted face wash, reusable face wash thing.
Cool.
And she sold them on Facebook, and she sold a couple, so she had to bring them in.
Cool. Good for her. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It says we have 3 concurrent viewers right now. I'm sure that that's probably just all of us, but just in case it's not, thank you for watching, anybody, and hopefully the stream is enjoyable so far. If it is, all of you guys, just don't say anything and let me feel like I'm a little bit famous, okay? Because, you know.
Don't comment too much about the whale talk. You know, like
Yeah.
That's what brought everybody in.
That's what skyrocketed my viewership to 3. They heard that there was some hot whale RP action going on the RP Ginger channel, and they needed to get over their stat.
It's all across Facebook right now, just saying.
Yeah. That would be my luck. Is that like a random viewer would just come in and see, like, we are going over there. We don't got too much longer to go, hopefully. Although that could be a lie. It really purely depends on what happens next.
kill everybody.
You're back. Corey is back. All right, we will commence. As you jump forth and say, unhand my queen, or whatever you said, Nim squeals, shocked, and lets go of the sister, who reappears, squiggling out the worm skull throne and lands in it. She looks puny in it right now, but she still is in it and glowing with power. You hear Mithram say, "Bring Sarissa to me quickly," and then speak a language that nobody understands except Warrendale. Do you see that in the chat?
I see it in that Draconic, but not. Oh, yes, translation. I see.
So nobody else understands what she says. Because you're like Octavio, so that's not giant. But Warrendale, you do with that information what you will. As everybody else is looking around confused. And then first up in the initiative is Mithram, and she is going to begin to head over to, what can she do? So many things. Only awkward because that is that. Okay, she's just going to head over and let's see how much movement she has. 50. Are you not going to measure for me, you stupid ruler? 20. Puts her there, and then Another 20 gets her there, and she is going to try to grab the scepter from Sarissa. This is going to be a contested check between the two of them. We're going to roll that. I didn't mean to roll that twice, but that's not high enough. And then Sarissa is going to reply with her own check. Oh, I double rolled that too. So Mithrim grabs on to the scepter. Obviously, Sarissa in her human form, weakened, is no match for Mithrim, the storm giant. And Sarissa yells out, "No, it's mine! Let go! This is treason! Treason!" And then rips the scepter from her hand. And then suddenly, Sarissa is reaching out for it. And then she stops moving. Her eyes are just wide, shocked. She's cut off mid-sentence. "This is treason." And then she's no longer moving. She's just sitting there. Her purple skin looks slightly more gray. And to your horror, Octavios, she looks like she has been petrified there. Next, you will hear Mithrim call out for guards. "There's attackers on the queens." And she will send out... Actually, she doesn't even say that. That is foolishness for her to say that. Instead, she will back up and push Nim forward. "Get them, Nim. You're not going to allow them to take your rightful claim to the throne, are you?" And next up is Nim, and she is going to charge forth and do a lightning strike at you guys. And that is a lightning bolt that she can throw at each creature in a 10-foot point. So unfortunately, that's all you guys. Make a dexterity saving throw.
I'm sorry, Chris. What were you waiting for?
Dexterity saving throw from everybody.
I got a 14 on the die. So 17 total on my end.
You got resistance to lightning, though, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's going to be really useful. I'm going to tell you that you probably want to succeed at this saving throw, TBH.
I might use my inspiration.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend using some inspiration if you rolled low. If you have it. Which everybody should have one. Livy, you rolled a 13. Are you keeping that?
I keep my 12, I guess.
All right, 12 it is.
Yeah.
Livy didn't reroll, so I'm assuming she's keeping it. You needed a 17 to succeed. If you failed, you take 48 lightning damage. If you succeed, you take half of that.
48?
48, yes.
That'll knock me out.
Livy's down for the count too.
So I roll a religion check on a 15, and I'm left with 1 HP. So I gotta roll a religion check?
Yep.
Shitty. Okay.
Right, Livian, you are down too, if I'm not mistaken, or are you good?
Yeah, I am.
You're down, yeah.
I'm left with 1 HP.
You're left with 1 HP. That's how the 19 works? Cool. All right, and 48, or how much, are you up, Warrendale?
Yeah.
You're up, cool. All right. As Nim steps forth and just drops that bolt on you, you see that Mithrim has pushed her way back and she is now cackling with laughter as she holds the scepter. Mirren is looking at her sister and just, sister, why is she frozen there? And then you hear Mithram speak out, and since it's only Warndell and Octavios up, right, Liviant, give me a death saving throw. And she's going to begin to say, at first in a language that only Warndell understands, and you didn't realize you had this language before. And your neck is tingling again like it has many times before in the presence of this woman, but also in the presence of Klauth. And you begin to start putting things together. Maybe you've suspected it before, but it all starts to become too quickly quickly in this moment, as she at first in Draconic says, "You pitiful fools." And then the two sisters stand back and say, "Aunt Mithram, what is this language you are speaking? I don't understand." And she says again now in common, "You pitiful fools. You have allowed your enemy not only into your sacred home, but into your most trusted counsel." You failed your saving throw. Next up is Mirren, who is going to just stand there and listen to this person speak. "What a waste of such large, thick skulls. Your brains are punier than the small folk that you mistrust." And Mirren starts to realize suddenly that Mithram is not speaking to the small folk, but speaking to her directly. "I have finally gained what I have came for. I have reaped chaos and mistrust into your ordering. I have recovered the heirlooms of my ancestors. And now I will leave you at your weakest. The whispers of your fragility will spread like lightning across the dark storm sky." Next up is Octavios. Do you interrupt her?
No.
"Your kingdom is brittle, and you will fall at the hands of your own kinsmen, your brothers and sisters." She begins to smile crueler and crueler. "This is a fate that you have caused yourselves. I have the scepter now. The king will be sacrificed before he is ever found. I will return to the ruins of your fortress and take the throne after you have been destroyed. You all have been puppets in my grand scheme, and the finale shall be your doom." And you begin to hear cracking and ripping of her skin as the horn on her head begins to grow even larger, and her blue skin begins to become scaly, and suddenly bursting out as this long reptilian-like arm, and then another, and then another. She braces herself on all four. These deep, riddled, war-scarred scales of an ancient blue dragon appear as Mithram takes on her true form, Imrith, the Doom of the Desert. You have faced off against her before, and now she stands in front of you, tucking the scepter away, and says, "Farewell, foolish giants. There is nothing you can do to stop your father's death now." And she will begin to channel a spell. Livy, death saving throw. One failure. Sarissa is petrified. Nim is going to scream out, "Mithram, what has happened to you? Mithram, no!" Mirren replies, "You idiot, we've been betrayed!" And panicking, she recharged her lightning strike. She hurls it at Mithram, illuminating the room with this powerful thing that just wiped out half of your party, Warrendell. But the lightning strikes into Imrith, and nothing is done, for she too is immune to lightning. And she laughs again as she says, "You giants are so foolish." And she will channel her spell. And that spell does not take very much time at all. She channels her chanting out a deep draconic language, and suddenly runes etch all around her, and she begins to vanish, and then is gone in that instant. Next up is Rycleviant, death saving throw. Success. Warrendell, you're left into the room. You're left with the room as quickly as she's come. Imrith has disappeared. The two sisters lay dumbfounded. Nim drops to her knees and says, "This cannot be. She told me I would be queen. She told me I was fit to be queen. How can this be? How can I be betrayed by her?" She slams her fist into the ground. What do you do?
Glance over my shoulder as I crouch down. Did Rick pass his? Yes, he did. So I'm going to kneel down next to Livy. And I'll just sort of glance over my shoulder and because you're a fool. I'm going to do a medicine check on Livy. I don't know what my modifier is, but I got a whopping...
Pool? At least pull her from the pool.
Oh, I thought she was in. I thought we were all still in the mouth of the thing.
No, you're in the mouth of the pool, so yeah, she's like beginning to drown, I guess. So
well, okay. In that case, yeah, I'll
grab
at
her.
least drag her up and out.
Yeah, Laboon wouldn't have let you sunk anyways. Your medicine check of what? Of 9?
Medicine check on Livy, but I got a total of 3 on the die, so whatever that is.
Yeah, 3 on the die is not going to cut it. She's not stabilized. Mirren turns her sword to you. This is your fault. You've let her in.
Fault. No, you let her in here long before we came. And you wouldn't listen to us when we tried to tell you. You can blame all you want, but you know the truth. Fools.
Nim squeals out, "You shut your filthy mouth, you puny rodent!" And she goes to lunge
Horrible
forth.
when you're wrong.
Mirren holds up her sword and blocks Nim. "No, they're right. This is our fault. Mithrim told me that I would be queen. She played us against our own sister. She played us against ourselves." Octavios, you're now up. She sits and says to herself, "What have we done?"
I'm going to reach down and touch Rycleviant and Livy at the same time and channel them both 25 points of health. And then I'm going to walk over to Sarissa and I'm going to bow before her. And I'm going to pray to Ilmater and use the ring and see if I can... I don't think it's going to work, but I'm going to see if I can transfer whatever illness or sickness, or if I can transfer her suffering onto me.
Yep, you try everything that you can in your power, just kneeling there in front of her, sitting in her throne with her arms just reached out, her mouth agape, and her eyes just shockingly alive yet frozen in time. And everything you try to do, whatever healing and prayers you can do, cannot break her from this.
Yeah, I'll just sit there and pray.
Livy. Yeah, we'll break combat now since the sisters have dropped down, and Mirren drops to her knees too and says, "What have we done? We have doomed our own kingdom. We are powerless now."
That's better. But
yeah, neither of us have any idea what happened there.
Yeah, you guys just come to consciousness. What the fuck has happened?
Yeah. Where's the other sister?
I would fill them all in, at least what was going on.
Wait. The blue dragon.
That damn dragon.
Maybe it was an azure dragon.
I guess the good thing is that we know where your father is.
Our father.
It's true.
If there's
What do
any
you-
hope, we need to
what
make
do
our
you-
way.
What do you mean?
What we mean is that you should have taken the time to ask your sister what she found out when she left. And that we know where Hekaton is. And maybe as your people, you should help us go get him.
Do we know exactly where he is?
You know that he's on a ship called the Morkoth, protected by very powerful spells that prevent any kind of divination on the ship, off a cluster
right,
of islands called the Purple Rocks.
Yep.
Right.
The sisters, Nim has given in to wallowing, and she says, "We are doomed now. Shortly the giant lords will begin to show up and see us in this state, and they will tear us apart limb from limb. Oh no, what have we done?"
We're doomed if we stay here and do nothing.
Bursting,
Get off your asses and give us a hand.
you hear
Walk
footsteps
over.
coming through too, loudly from the northern section of the entryway, and two guards break in. It's Orlecto and Vasha. Orlecto badly injured, and he draws his weapon immediately and says, "Mirren, we're under attack! You! Them there!" And she puts up her hand and says, "Stop. We've been betrayed." And then he drops down to his knees and says, "Mirren, my queen, you do not understand. Our guards are currently engaged with Tartha and Duke Zalto. The fire giants have teleported here and demanded to speak with the queen. When we told them to wait, they began attacking." Mirren whispers to herself, "It appears that this dragon was ahead of us all this time. She must have warned the other giant lords that we are weakest right now. We are doomed."
Do you have a person who can blend herbs here? Do you have somebody who keeps ingredients? Do you have any alchemists here? Do you have anything like that?
She thinks to herself, no, not really.
Oh, shitty. Well, that fucks that plan. And Octavius' praying just gets louder and louder as he starts to even call on his divine intervention to see if his god can help him craft possibly a potion or learn a spell to possibly help.
And basically, to make things short so we don't have to listen to me roleplay between myself for the next little bit, Mirren explains to Orlecto what has happened, and that way he kind of like lets down the assault against you guys. But apparently giants other kin are now storming the circle and pouring in. The guards are currently engaged, but there's only so long they can hold them off for. Mirren says, or Nim is just in a panic and a wallow, and she's like, I don't know what to do. Oh no, we're going to die. Sarissa, please, come back. Sarissa, help us. You would know what to do. And she crawls over and begins to just like paw at Sarissa's form, clearly like giving in to the pressure. And Mirren, just also dumbfounded, but not quite panicking, says, you know where my father is.
Why don't you deal with these giants here? We'll go get him.
Why would you do that for us? We have only scorned you. We've only mistrust you. We have tried to kill you. Why would you possibly help us now?
Because some people are better than you.
We serve the rightful queen and her father.
I would look to Octavius trying to get him up or something. Why don't you see if your friend can take us on a trip? You speak well, I hear.
You would never survive long enough in the ocean, would you? You're 3,000 feet below sea. You don't breathe water, do you?
How fast can you swim to the surface?
Yes.
Mirren says to Nim, there's only one person left in this fortress who can help us right now. Nim, get up. Stop this at once. Go free Uthor from the Mir. He will help in the defense. She runs bolting down towards the south hallway for a few moments. A couple minutes later, Uthor comes back. filling in the gaps, again, telling him what's happened. He agrees that all hope is not lost. Hecaton is the only person that can stop this. We can hold off the fire giants, but that's all we can do. It's only a matter of time before more and more begin to show up. And he looks to you all and bows his knee. I apologize for not trusting you. Cerisa was right all along. You were the only ones here worthy of trying to get anything done, and all we've done is made it more difficult and possibly impossible. Please.
Yeah.
We do not deserve your help, but Cerisa does. If you know where Hecaton is, find him. Sorry, what are you saying?
Do you have anybody that can make her again?
No. The scepter and the throne. They're two things that make one. Without the scepter, the throne betrays. She is stuck there. Sorry, what'd you say?
Do you know of these purple islands?
Let's make a check. He does not. You guys can all make a history check.
3.
Dan, you can make it with advantage. You're studied. For some reason, Reich Livian, the guy from the Spine of the World,
For some reason, Reich knows where it is.
has heard of it. Same with Octavius. You know roughly where it is, the both of you. It's far into the trackless sea, so very westward of the Sea of Swords, the west of the Sword Coast. There's just this cluster of islands known as the Purple Rocks. It will definitely be getting there. None of you have ever been there before. You just know of it. There's not really any convenient way to get there. There's not a whole lot known about the place. It's pretty isolated. You would need a ship, and it would take probably a few days or some means of travel to get there, and it will take a few days. Even at best.
Your well friend take us, Octavius.
I don't think he can swim that far, man.
Yeah, it is very far away from where you guys currently are.
But if he can get us to the surface, I might be able to get another ride, depending on if he was able to squirrel his way out of that last thing or not.
I can get you to the surface. Well, Maelstrom can get you to the surface. Southward, beyond the throne room. And then to the east, there is a meditation cave. If you speak the word daughters in Giant, you will attune to the cave. From there, you'll be able to perform a plethora of spells, but the most important of which is a teleportation spell. You can teleport to anywhere you need to, without fail, as long as you've been there.
Thank you. We must go. We will save Cerisa.
Again, I am sorry for what has become of us. I am ashamed that we, the proud Storm Giants, did not trust you when we could have.
Book, cover, whatever.
Bursting through the door is a pack of a massive amount of people, basically. I don't know if I'm going to get them all on the map unless this works really conveniently. Yeah, it does. You see Tartha, who was one of the giant lords that you dealt with before, the fire giant that really did not care for you guys. You see what could only be expected to be her husband, Duke Zalto, sorry. You see the cloud giant Val, and then just a whole army of like these yak humanoid looking individuals, all in this black kind of fur and gold plate armor that seem to be being commanded around by the fire giants. And then you see a couple more fire giants and cloud giants, and he looks back with a smile. You, Thor, he whispers to you, "Go now. We can hold them off, but time is of the essence. And he stands up and begins to speak. Duke Zolto, welcome to the throne room. It appears that you seek counsel with the queen. And then they begin to go into like a bit of a back and forth. Do you guys leave?
I suggest we hurry up and get out of here. I think we might need to go save your friend again, Octavius.
So you begin to head southward down, and you come to a cross road where the stairs to the west lead up towards the study and where Sarissa's room is. You see southward is this royal treasury just riddled with chests and gold and everything that you can imagine. But then to the east is this cave full of lichen and starfish and coral just clinging to it, and it seems to be radiating this warm, glowing energy.
I'm gonna try to take a little bit of that if that's the hall we go down.
A little bit of what?
The bioluminescence.
It's in the room itself.
Can I have some? Can I
Yeah,
just scrape some off the
you
wall?
step into the room and you pull it off the wall. It peels off, no problem.
I'm just
you-
supplying it for later.
Hear the giants go back and forth for a bit, but it's not long before the sounds of battle begin to be heard. And there was a lot of giants. You don't know if the four of them, you Thor, or the five of them can hold off that many giants, but you're not really left with much other choice. So you leave and you get into the cave. What do you guys do once in the cave?
Well, as we're running towards that cave, do I see anything in that treasury room that's like our size that might be useful? Just a real quick glance.
You can make a perception check.
Yeah, and you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Right, Livian. So she's petrified?
Yeah, she is petrified.
Is she so like stone?
Yes.
It's a 19 on the perception total.
All right.
He's just looking for anything he could just grab real quick.
She's also connected to the throne, though, not to make it confusing. Like, she's petrified to the worm skull throne.
Oh, okay. So I can't pick her up.
No. I guess you could try to break her off the worm skull throne if you really wanted to.
I don't want to break her. Yeah, all right. If she was just standing there, I probably would have tried to pick her up and take her with us, but
Silent Princess, your leg is in another castle.
yeah.
So
Exactly.
you, with that perception check, see an uncountable amount of gold and rupees and gemstones and diamonds. You wouldn't be able to even begin to count it. You also see, what was it, a 19-year-old or a 17? 19?
16 plus 3, so 19 total.
19. There's not a whole lot in terms of, you see like this chain shirt that's giant size that seems to be gleaming. You see rugs, barrels of wines, random trinkets and paintings. It's basically just like a lot of their wealth. With a 19, I would say you see like a couple of like, what does this look like here? I'm just trying to see what would make sense. A highly polished like blue stone that seems to be the size of like a basketball right now.
Well, if Warren felt that, so at least something might be of hand or that he could use, he might grab it. But
money always seems to be
obviously
useful,
nothing.
but it's just like it is like the giant, one of the most successful and royalist of giants treasury. So there's just like so much to take in that there's nothing like sitting on top of a pile that's like, it's just a lot. You would need to go into the room and probably expect it, but like from a glance of like 40, 50 feet away, there's a fuckload of shit in there, and all of it's probably worth a lot of money. Enough for you to retire and never have to work again.
I do stop for a moment and ponder that, but yeah, if there's nothing right there real quick, no box saying take this, then
Yeah.
Drink this.
Yeah. There's a big neon arrow that's pointing, and it's like sweet loot here, but that doesn't seem to make much sense to you. So you just
Sweet loot for W.
yeah. But yeah, you just have a moment where like maybe the past Warren would have just like swooped in and pocketed whatever he can and left off.
Oh yeah.
But for some reason now you've chosen to go this path of a much larger scheme of things, and you're now in the cave. What do you guys all do? Where are you going? How do you get there? This is a moment you hear the clashing of battle and chanting and yelling.
I would look at Octavius and what did he?
What if you do know how to say the word giant, right?
I know how to say the words.
Excellent.
Let's just get to where we need to go. And Octavius would be like, exactly where she said we needed to go.
You don't know where Purple Rock is, so you can't teleport, or you've never been there, so you can't teleport there, so it's gonna have to be somewhere that you know of.
Are we in the teleporter room?
Yes, you are in the room, and you speak the word daughters in giant, and you attune to the room. And then from there, he says, he just basically explained to like think of a place that you really want to go, picture it fully, and join hands, and as long as you're focusing on that place, you will be teleported there. But it has to be somewhere that you're familiar with.
Are we gonna have like a Stardust moment?
What's that?
If we're all thinking of various spots that are near and dear to us.
Well, Octavius is the only one that's attuned to it.
In between.
Yeah. Octavius is the one that's attuned to it, so you'd have to grab onto his hands.
Okay.
But what other spells does this room know? Because he said spells.
He didn't tell you.
Does Octavius know?
Octavius, if he wants to sit down and spend some time, he could probably think about it. But for right now, all that he knows is how to teleport.
I would want to teleport to the closest point, obviously, to this place, into a dock city that I know.
So let's pull up the big old map here and see if we can jog your guys' memory. You can make a history check, anyone that wants to. There's definitely a few good places you can go. So if anyone can reason a proper check, I can maybe guide you.
I would ask the group, where do you think the best place to go would be?
Maybe we should go pick your friend.
Either Waterdeep to get your friend, or that dark city with that pirate fellow.
For Livy.
I'm that little girl. I forget her name. She was a pirate.
Lily Arbuckle.
Yeah, I'm quite renowned in that town, to say. They have ships. I'm sure we could get out and go.
You do remember
that man had
that Captain Benigo Kurth, the King of Sails, is one of the greatest pirates to ever sail the Sea of Swords.
And he owes us a favor.
That would be a good place to go. So let's go there. And Octavius would concentrate. As my eyes shut, I clenched both hands, connected to mine, and ta-da.
And then you feel the lightlessness bit of your innards being warped around through the different planes of existence, washing around in nothingness and swirling for an eternity, yet an instant. And then suddenly the damp feeling and kind of clean air of Maelstrom is washed away with the dirty, salty sea air and the cawing of seagulls and the distance of the thousands and thousands of sails that litter the docks of Luskan. The smell of stinking fish and tar and hard-working individuals as you now suddenly bamf into the middle of Luskan, the city of sails.
Yep.
That is where we will end the session tonight. We will pick up again on another Saturday, hopefully soon. Thank you for playing, guys. That was a bit of a roller coaster. We had some next level role playing by the DM there, I have to say. Like, the whale noises were out of control. A point of inspiration to everybody. A bonus point of inspiration for Warren Dell, remembering some past story stuff. I appreciate that. Bonus inspiration for Dan also for some great whale, role playing also. And everyone can have a static 1 point of inspiration. Thanks for playing, guys. Thanks for watching, anyone that watched. Catch us again as we now begin the roller coaster ride of the end of this campaign. There's only a handful more sessions left, hopefully, before we get to the end of it. So hang in there if you've been watching. If not, catch you around, everybody. Check out Morgan's channel, The Coffee Bean GM. He's running Descent to Avernus, and it's really fucking great because I'm in it and Dan's in it. I mean, it's just a bunch of great people. Otherwise, see you later, everybody, and have a good night. Peace.